It's their DNA that has come from the last world. And that's one of the things that these ETs talk to me about quite detailed. That during this time of choice and during this time of change, that these people held a key to our future. So in the history of the indigenous people, they have been crushed by outsiders, not just whites, the outside world, those that have come afterwards, which is the rest of the population. And they have their own land. They're protecting the water. They're protecting the earth. They have certain abilities to work within the system of the financial system in order to create the new systems. If they have sovereignty, they have the ability to change the monetary systems and create their own banks. If they have their own land, they have the ability to create eco-villages that are going to be the platforms for a new future. If they have massive amounts of land, then they can begin to build new ways of farming and producing food that is more productive than having it the way that we have it right now, which is killing our soil. They also have knowledge about how herbs and medicines and healing practices that we can benefit from. But let's be clear on something which is really important. What I'm talking to you about sounds as though it came from, you know, me reading a book or looking at something over here or having a conversation over there. But what I'm actually talking to you about came directly from extraterrestrials. So I take note of that and I say, all right, what can I do in order to assist them? So if you want to make a huge impact and you want to make it quickly, one of the ways that this community can do that is to find the tribe in your area and ask them, what can I do to work with you? You're not going to be there to help them. We don't help each other. We assist one another. Because a lot of people try and help, and they use their egos and they use another part of themselves. And that doesn't work. But if you work with someone, then you leave the ego out of it and you actually accomplish something. Now, 21 years ago, they said there would be a time, and I call it the Great Gathering of humanity. I have to look at how much time I have. I'm going to share something extraordinary with you. This is the first time I've shared this publicly, and I think it's time. 21 years ago, and I know I keep repeating myself because I'm actually a little tired and I had a rough day yesterday, so I apologize. When they talked about this great gathering, they said that one of the keys to this, the biggest key, was the indigenous communities around the world coming together, first and foremost. Secondly, it was the star family, the star beings that are here in body like myself, and I'm sure like a lot of you out there sitting in the audience. Because we are the ones doing the work. We are the ones making the changes. We are the ones that are not working from ego. There's no place for it here. We are in absolute service, giving up our family lives to a certain degree, giving up our homes, our cars, our financial stability, giving up our friendships that we've had for years in order to work in absolute service for humanity and for the earth. So the indigenous cultures come together, the star beings and the star family come together, and beyond that, how do we pull everyone else in? The mothers, the children, the grandchildren, the grandfathers, everyone, the politicians. And I'm really sorry to tell you this, but the religious leaders from around the world as well. I'm not interested in talking to someone about how this religion is no good, and that religion is no good, and this belief is no good, and that one. You know what? Every single person on this planet is a human being. And so if we want to make a change, we need to invite everyone into the circle. I had a conversation with someone here last night who was a little off center. And they said that they felt as though there were a number of alphabet people in the room. And you know what? If there is anyone here along those lines that's from some sort of an organization that doesn't like what we're doing, you know what I said to this person? I said, invite them to sit down with you. Invite them to your table and have a conversation with them. And teach them something, because that's what this is about. Because when that person walks away, guess what? They're still in this body. So regardless of what they're being told to do or directed to do, they're still going to be able to hear your voice. So this great gathering is something that I have been waiting a very long time in order to begin working on. Because that's exactly what I was instructed to do, was to talk to people and let them know that this great gathering will take place around the world. It will not have a charge. So if you hear about a gathering of indigenous people, if you hear about a gathering of other people and there's a big charge for the amount of money that you need to go, this is not the prophesized gathering. This is not the great gathering, because that is not for sale for any charge. For such a long time, people ask me the details of what it is that will happen. And I tell them that I have held this vision in my mind for all these years of every man, woman, and child on earth knowing that this event was taking place, all at the same time, or maybe all in the same week, where gatherings around the world would happen in the middle of a city, in the middle of a village or a small town, and people would just gather. And the gathering doesn't have to say anything. They just have to gather and be peaceful and say, we want a change in this world. You know, 9/11 was a horrible thing. And again, at this point in my personal world, I don't care who created it. What I care about, and I think about often, is the power of humanity. Because the moment that I saw that tower come down, do you know what well, I'm sure some of you know what I did. I cried, because I cry a lot. But I cried emotionally. I was so distraught and so disturbed, because I knew that this would affect every single human being on earth. And I cried because I felt, my God, they're going to go to war. This is it. Nuclear war is on its way. My God, I prayed and prayed and prayed. And then gatherings started happening around the world, and it was like a vigil. And I believe I felt a change happen, because my first absolute intuition was absolute war, worldwide war. And then as soon as the gatherings started happening around the planet, I thought, oh, thank God, because it means that these politicians are going to get the message that nobody wants this big war, that it's not going to be accepted. And it's not. And it wasn't. So we minimized the impact on ourselves by creating those gatherings around the world. And I know this. For myself, I know this. About a year and a half ago, in January of 2008, I was instructed, I had a telepathic communication with my ETs to meditate, which I finally did. After about 3 days, I finally had the time to sit down. And I meditated, and they came to me, and they were very, 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 very clear. And they said, they wanted me to do something specific, and I apologize for being cryptic, but I'm often cryptic for reasons. They actually asked me to make something. And I said, okay, what, you know, and I'm in this meditation, and they said, we want you to look at something over here, and then we want you to make it. I said, okay. And the tall blonde was standing right in front of me, and I was sort of, you know, in this astral world, not really paying attention, you know, going, oh, okay, I'm here, what do you want? And I had to get back out because there was